goal kicker, Taylor Walker, with a welcome off. Here's Rosselli. Rosselli kicks the goal.
Handball to the excitement machine, McLeod. Left foot goal.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's a superstar.
Don't tell me. Oh! He's yet to kick an AFL goal. Oh, the velvet curtain.
Walker, oh, he's a colossus. He's kicked 5. He's been a handful. He's been the difference.
To cover himself in glory.
He's coming back.
And got there.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Proper Crows podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watching on YouTube at the moment. Thanks so much for your support as always. Today we'll be running through the round 22 heart attack win against the Eagles from last night, the SANFL win over the Panthers, some general news, chatting about sealing our first finals appearance since 2017 and much, much more. Not just me here this evening, but not one of the usual culprits on the other side. I'm joined by a man who we've referenced multiple times on the pod, a man who is like a thesaurus for AFL knowledge from 2005 onwards, Mr. Matthew Campaign. How are you, Matt?
Ben, it's a pleasure to be here finally. I'm very excited for this podcast.
Absolutely, mate, and we'll jump straight in. Yesterday didn't really go as we thought it might have initially, but we got the win in the end. What was the score yesterday, mate?
It was Adelaide lost. Sorry, it felt like a loss, but we won the game 78-87. Dawson easily was best on for us. Rankin was amazing in that second half. Very lucky to get a win in the end because West Coast were superb for pretty much the whole game, really. It was definitely the best game this year they played. And yeah, it's very, very fortunate to come away with a win because it did look a bit worrying at times.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, mate, I think that was the best game they've played since the 2018 Grand Final, to be perfectly honest. But
You're up there.
yeah, we got out of jail, used the get out of jail free card with that one, I think. So it was Thiel kicking 3, Pedler kicked 3, Dom's boy, Taylor, Saligo, Rankin, Peatling, Keys, Fogarty and Dawes all kicked the 1 goal as well. Just before we jump in as well, I want to note, Dill may pop in at some stage. He just had some stuff to do this afternoon and he said he may just jump in while we're recording. So if he just pops up out of nowhere, that's what's happening. Changes to the squad this week was an interesting one. We managed Tex and then Smith and Cook were both omitted. Pedler, Laird and Burgess came in. Some people questioning the resting of Tex. I mean, personally, I think it was probably the right call. The big trip over to Perth, 35-year-old heading into a big final series. Let him get a bit of rest before the finals. The other two, Brodie Smith probably a little bit stiff, but had to make way for Laird. They'll probably do a bit of a tag team role and come back and switch positions this week. But what were your thoughts on Tex getting rested, mate, and any other changes to the squad?
Yeah, I think the Tex getting rested was a bit of a no-brainer because his 300th aligns with obviously our home qualifying final, which is going to be an incredible atmosphere and occasion at Adelaide Oval. Compared to playing a 300 game against the Kangaroos at Marvel, it just doesn't really match up for an occasion like that. So I think it's a good decision, and yeah, looking forward to that one in a few weeks for the first final in 8 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yesterday pretty much sealed it. We just need to get the job done against North in the final round, or Collingwood this week, and we seal a home final in the first week, which will be absolutely massive, like you said. We touched on it a little bit there. West Coast, they showed up for Liam Duggan's 200th and farewell Dom Sheed and Jeremy McGovern and a few other things. But they were all over us. For the first 3 and a bit quarters, they just couldn't do anything wrong. The ball was bouncing the right way for them. Everything went right for the Eagles. But a man called Jordan Dawson and Isaac Rankin, Phil Thorpe and Zach Taylor showed up and fortunately dragged the boys across the line. But yeah, the Eagles played really, really well. So I don't know, I felt relatively calm through the whole thing because this squad has given me confidence, but you'd be lying if you weren't a little bit worried 10 minutes into the last quarter when we were down to West Coast, for sure.
Yeah, it was the furthest thing from calm, particularly in that second half. Once West Coast went 3 goals up in the third and we just couldn't get the ball moving at all. A lot of turnovers. Defence was under pressure for a lot of the game. It was just probably the worst win, if that's even a thing. Like it's probably the worst win I've seen in the last 20 years of watching, I reckon, for the Crows.
Yeah, and I would trust you to pick out most wins that you have seen in that time.
There's been a few lucky ones, but yeah, this was definitely up there as the worst performance win I've seen, definitely.
Yeah, Nah, 100%. Well, we'll jump into some positives. We touched on him a second ago. Isaac Rankin. Let me just run you through these stats from the third quarter alone. He had 12 touches, 8 of which were contested, 10 kicks, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 5 intercepts, 3 score involvements, 2 clearance, and 5 inside 50s. He was one who just put the boys on his shoulders and just... He wrestled back momentum. I mean, we got a couple of goals in front and it looked like we'd kick away. That didn't obviously happen, but Ranks pulled us back from when we were 3 goals down and got us back on top. And that goal that he kicked halfway through the last quarter to put us back in front was something special. I mean, clearance from about 60, 65 metres out, just streaks inside 50 and slots it as cool as you like. He's a very special player, and whilst he was quiet a bit in the first half, when the whips were cracking in the second half, he came out and put on a show.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Very quiet first half. I did notice he started the game pretty much in defence for the first few minutes, and then got into the game obviously after half time. The goal he's kicked in the last quarter, and he's been doing it consistently, like really standing up when the chips are down. Against Hawthorn with that goal to put us ahead. It's just truly one of the more magical players we've ever recruited, and very fortunate to have.
Yeah, 100%. He's a very, very special player. I think yesterday was a bit of a case of, and without disrespecting West Coast too much, they obviously showed up pretty well. I think Nixie was trying a few different things. Like you mentioned, Isaac starting, behind the ball and sort of towards defence. But there are just a few things that maybe we were trying a few different scenarios where, if this is happening and we move this player here, sort of what happens and get a bit of experience in it. Almost ended up with a bit of egg on our face, but we got there in the end. So, yeah, it was an interesting one. One thing that doesn't change, though, Jordan Dawson just coming up clutch and doing whatever he wants. I think it's pretty safe to say he would have got 3 Brownlow votes yesterday.
Hopefully, I think he deserves it. But I think just based on the team performance, maybe the umpires would have some Eagles players in mind, but no one was anywhere near as good as Dawson on the day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he was just running around the field doing it all. Was instrumental in just pulling us back into that game. And while we're talking about awards and different things, I think All-Australian skipper. Don't talk to me about Noah Anson. I don't want to hear anything about him. I think Geordie Dorse should be the All-Australian skipper. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but...
there's no bias. It's clearly been the most influential player this year. To take a team from 15th last year to top spot this year, and the games he's just stood up in, it's definitely been one of the best seasons from a Crow I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's just ever so reliable. I mean, first half when not many players were doing a lot, you could still count on him to, he kicked that big goal in the first quarter. He's getting clearances. He's getting around the pack. He had 14 tackles yesterday as well, so he's putting pressure on the opposition too. He just does it all around the ground. His final stats, what do you have? He had 26 touches in the end. Like I said, 14 tackles. He took 6 marks. He kicked the snag. He was just doing it all. And, yeah, Mr. Dependable who just pops up. If you're not going well, you just throw the ball to Dawson. Even if you don't throw the ball to Dawson, he'll find it somehow and just pull you along for the ride. So, very, very grateful. We were saying Rankin, one of the most magical players that we've ever brought in from another club. Well, Geordie Dorse is probably around that same mould, you'd have to say. He's a special, special player, and we're very blessed to have him leading us every week.
Oh, absolutely. You just touch on those two players, Rankin and Dawson. I mean, quite clearly the difference in these kind of scenarios. Obviously, last week Rankin putting us ahead, and then we got the win against Hawthorn, and then just Dawson the full 4 quarters yesterday. So good. I hopefully gets the AA captaincy. I think he will.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. They're just those little differences in class where over the last few years we might have been lacking a little bit. And obviously Rankin and Dawson have been with us for a few years, but a few of those other players are sort of starting to lift to allow them to really take the game away from oppositions. And yeah, everything going against us yesterday, Geordie just steps up and it was elite. One player who I did want to talk about as well was Zach Taylor. I negated to mention him in the full-time post, and there are a lot of comments saying, what about Zach Taylor, what about Zach Taylor? But he was also very good. Had himself 20 touches, kicked a goal, 5 tackles, including a couple of key ones where he caught players holding the ball for the Eagles. There's probably I don't want to say a breakout game, because not quite to that mould, I don't think, but he was very good yesterday and was really one that kept us around the contest and really helped drag us back as well, I thought. What were your thoughts on Zachy Taylor?
No, I think it was a breakout game. It was definitely his best game for the club. Obviously, he got dropped about 6 or so weeks ago, and then he came back in. He's been superb. Pretty underrated player. He does a lot around the ground that doesn't get much mention or notice, but I think he'll definitely slot into that best 22 come finals time. I think he's earned it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's probably doing enough to maintain that spot, and especially while Rash is still, coming back from his injury, and there's no sort of set timeline on when he's coming back. He's pretty safe in the role, I think, at the moment. He's just playing very well. It's nice to see him still developing along, and Nixie playing the kids as has been called for the last 4 years, and here's what happens. Zachy Taylor played a fantastic game and one that we can be very happy with. Crucial in keeping us in the game for, that third quarter. Especially, probably the second and third quarter were the main ones where he really shone, but had a great game overall. Now, speaking of someone who just showed up, we mentioned him earlier, Riley Thilthorpe just dragged us over the line, and tough day for him, smacked on the head and on the neck by Duggan, who got rubbed out for 2 weeks. Couldn't get anything, was getting chopped by Ruben Jinby, and all sorts of things were happening, but he turned up late, kicked a bomb from 50 metres out, and then that one where he didn't get paid the mark right at the death, he just decided, well, I'm just going to rip it out of someone's hands and just snap it through. So Phil showing up was very positive as well, was very, very good, and he just does it all. We've spoken, Dill, Dom and I have spoken on the pod this year a lot about Phil and how great of a season he's having. He's kicked 51 goals now after yesterday. He's just that enforcer that you put him up forward, you kick the ball near him, and he'll probably make something happen. And even when calls go against him like that mark, he's just a big brute, and he'll pick the ball up and kick a goal no matter what.
Oh, definitely. To not get a goal up until halfway through the third quarter and then just explode in that last, and to kick a goal from that far out on Optus Stadium is not a small ground either, and it just cleanly goes through. It's a superb way to pretty much seal the game. And yes, 51 goals. We haven't had a player kick that many goals, I don't think, since 2016. Eddie Betts, or actually might have been Josh Jenkins around that era. But yeah, it's not common a Crow actual kicker about 50 plus in a season, and for him to do that with a few games remaining is an unbelievable effort, and particularly for a first full year as well.
No, absolutely. And I mean, we've been pretty blessed with forward lines that have been pretty stacked for talent, but I mean, that's still the same this year. We've still got a forward line that's stacked for talent, and he's kicked 50 and Tex has almost kicked 40.
I'll just cut you off. I completely forgot about Tex 2023, which is just poor from me, but yeah, we can edit that out.
Absolutely. You'll be getting in the group chat right about now. Everyone listening.
That is an awful thing to forget somehow. It's been a long day. Sorry.
No, you're right, mate. It happens to the best of us. I'm sure there's been plenty of things that I've said on here that have been very factually incorrect. But yeah, he just turns up and just does a fantastic job. And like we were saying, the forward line's stacked, so you've got plenty of options up there. But I think the main thing about him is if you just kick it somewhere near him and he just makes something happen, and that's how he can get 50 goals in the forward line with Tex and with your Fogartys and with your Rochellis and your Rankins and everyone sharing it around. He's just a beast, and the fact that he's only 23 years old and really not even in his prime yet is just great and very exciting for us, but should be scary for the rest of the league, because when Phil hits his prime, it's over. Oh
mate, it's to be that good at 23 and that strong, mobile. It's going to be a good argument in the years to come whether he's going to be the greatest Crows forward of all time. I mean, Tex is my personal favourite. I think many will agree he is our greatest forward. But I just think Thilthorpe, when his career is said and done, he's going to go down as one of the all-timers at the Crows, just getting better by the week.
Oh, absolutely, mate. He just, like you say, he just keeps getting better every week that he's playing, and if he keeps on this trajectory, then scary times coming up. He's going to be one of those players who's just a beast, really. And we've got an exciting team around him. There's a few players who we're potentially looking at bringing in, this year and over the next couple of years, and they'll feed him just as much, if not more, as what he's already getting. And there's no reason why he can't be, a big key forward like probably mid 2000s you'd look at who kick 70 in a year and just absolutely dominate. He's just
Yeah. You always wonder how these players would have fared in the 2000s. I mean, with the service they had then, and obviously the defending has obviously improved a lot in the last 10 years across the league. It's a way more tactical game. But yeah, I think Thilthorpe would thrive in any era, particularly the 2000s, definitely.
Oh yeah, just that stay-at-home full forward, sit in the square and just put it
Oh.
on his head. You'd be talking bags of 10, 12,
Oh,
15,
mate.
14.
What could have been? Imagine having him in the 2000s when we had the likes of McGregor, Perry, Henschel. Obviously good players, but obviously not as good as Riley.
Absolutely, mate. You're
Oh.
replacing Ian Perry with a Riley Thilthorpe.
I don't think any Crows fans going to complain about that, but yeah. 20 years too late, sadly.
Nah, that's all right. We'll enjoy our success in this period instead, and we were
Yeah.
only 7, 8, 9, 10 years old in those times when we were losing games to West Coast in very important.
I was thinking that yesterday. Like the Crows have not lost to a team that's been so heavily tipped to lose. Then I think the last time would have been probably 19 years ago against Richmond. The odds that day were 8-1, and then obviously yesterday was 18-1 before the game. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we definitely dodged a bullet there massively.
Absolutely. Is that the one you're referring to that was at the MCG? Red Guernsey?
No, there was 2006 at the Telstra Dome as it was known back then. It was there's actually a Wikipedia page for it, and they refer to it as the basketball game, where Terry Wallace completely ruined the game of football, which we know and love that day, and crushed my 10-year-old spirit at the same time.
Yep. I remember that one. There's a lot of painful memories from around that time.
Oh.
It's opposition coaches or Neil Craig's fault. We could debate that for...
Love Craigie too much to say it's his fault.
Nah, absolutely. But yeah, it's very, very good. You just love watching his development, and it's very exciting over the next 5 to 10 years, where he's just going to be leading out from the front and just kicking bags. It's going to be great to watch. A man who respectfully might not be there for another 5 to 10 years. Chrissy Burgess had his second game of the season or third game of the season.
I think it's his first game for the senior team this year. Definitely, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm mistaken last year.
Yeah, because he played about 6 games last year. Then he kind of drifted out once Thilthorpe came back. So yeah, it was his first game coming in this year, definitely. Because we played the 3 tools all year.
Yeah. No, and it, not a particularly inspiring game from Chrissy Burgess. I mean, he had probably a few drop marks that he might have been a little bit unlucky with. Might have been a few nerves, a bit of everything going on through his head. But missed a couple of set shots, took 5 marks, had 10 touches. But yeah, I mean, it's a 1 week in, straight back out job when Ted comes back in, and it probably always was. But hasn't done himself a lot of favours for the future, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah,
I can't see him getting a game for the senior team again. He'll finish a year strong in the SANFL. I'm not sure what his numbers are. I think 48 goals in 15 games. He'll definitely be crucial for the twos come finals time. But yeah, it's a wrap for his AFL career, sadly.
Yeah, no, and it is a shame. He's one of those stereotypical really, really good in the twos, but just can't make that jump up to the ones team. We've got a mate, Dill and I, who came to the Suns game, who was a Suns fan, and has been talking all week about why the hell are you playing Burgess? What's he doing? He does this every time. He was a leading goal kicking winner in the VFL with the Suns before he came to us. He's sort of on a similar trajectory here, where he's right up there for the Ken Farmer medal in the SANFL. But on yesterday's form, I fear that he's a twos player, and don't think you're going to get much else out of him over the coming years, to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
Very much just there for depth, just in case Fogarty, Thilthorpe or Tex aren't playing. And obviously we still want to play the 3 tools. It's worked so well for us this year. Unfortunately, he didn't rise to the occasion yesterday. Kind of surprised he didn't get a goal at all, which I was on the sports bet market before the game, and I was thinking Chris Burgess maybe five or so today and a big win, and just nowhere near it, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I think a few people lost a bit of money on the markets yesterday. I know I was a little bit too heavy on the line and lost a bit more than I would have planned, but it's just nothing really went to plan yesterday. But obviously nothing against Chrissy personally, but I just don't, the calibre of forwards we have up there, he's just going to struggle to get back into that side. barring disaster with injury or anything like that. But
Well, hopefully not.
yeah, no, absolutely. I'll touch wood, made sure to touch wood after saying that. But yeah, he'll be crucial for the SANFL run to the grand final and through the finals and everything like that. But yeah, probably not coming back into the league side. Another bloke yesterday who had moments. There was ups and downs, but Hugh Bonds yesterday, his decision making for me was just a little bit slow. I think he gets caught with the ball probably a little bit too often for what we need and the role that he's playing. Fantastic one-on-one defender, but when he goes for a run, and he got away with it a few times yesterday by selling a bit of candy and getting around his defender, but yeah, he just gets caught a little bit. He's a little bit slow with the decision making, and I just don't really know if he'll hold his spot as we head towards finals, mate. What were your thoughts on Bondy?
Yeah, a bit erratic, and definitely the sign of a player that's only played the 2 games this year. He played quite okay against Hawthorn last week, I think, in a team performance, but yeah, looked a little bit lost yesterday, and I don't think he'll play much for the rest of the season. I think with Michelini and a few others coming back, it's just not really likely he'll get a spot in that finals series.
No, absolutely. He's sort of, he's that placeholder spot for Max and a few of those other players who are, either coming through or, injured or whatever it may be. But I was talking his praises last week. I thought he had a great game against Hawthorn, especially in the first half. But yeah, just a few crucial times yesterday where he tried to take it on, or he didn't go the first kick or handball, and then just got caught holding the ball. It was just a little bit disappointing, but we'll see. He might hold his spot this week, considering Lairdy goes out, but we'll see how we go with that one. Another man, Chase Jones, came on as the sub.
Yeah.
Again, not particularly inspiring. He had a few mates.
Very effective disposals.
Yeah. What have we had here? He came on at half time. He had 2 disposals.
Oh dear. I think Chase he's been very fortunate to get back in the team. I don't think he's played overly bad. I mean, for a first rounder, you obviously expect him to have a much more solid career so far, and it hasn't worked out. But I mean, it's not entirely a bad player to have in your team, and I'm not sure if he'll hold his spot come finals time. We have obviously Rochelle coming back. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll talk about that later, I reckon. But yeah, I think he hasn't been overly that bad since he's come back in. But yeah, yesterday. Nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, no, he just didn't find the speed of the game yesterday after coming on at half time, and I just worry about it. I just don't think he holds the spot. I think we'll talk about it obviously when we preview the Pies game a little bit more, but there's probably a few blokes who might be coming in ahead of him. Might send him back to the SANFL a bit, which is, you don't want players to be going back, and you want them to be performing, but 2 touches in a half and they were both turnovers really isn't, you can't really say too much about that and give much defence on it.
I think after a performance like that, it's good that you do expect to be not a lot, but a few changes. I think coming in. I think we'll talk about who we think will come in and out later on. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And the last point I've got here before we get on to some feedback from the wonderful listeners is that. Is this a test we needed to have? I don't know how much you buy into that stereotypical line that everyone drops when a team's going, well, they need a loss before finals, they need this before finals, blah, blah, blah. I personally don't buy into it too much because for me, winning form is good form and you roll up and you do your job and that's that. But is this it wasn't a loss, it was a win in the end, but is this the wake-up call we needed before finals to really kick us into gear before September, or do we just chuck it down to a bit of a mulligan and the less said about it, the better? Yeah,
I just think the mindset from the players, I think in the back of their mind, they're thinking 100-point win. Like, we'd beaten West Coast by 99 points last year, 123 points the year before, and it's against relatively much the same team. I think just in the players' back of their mind, they're thinking just get the 4 points, a big win, and then head back, and it was far from anything that was expected.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think just for whatever reason, West Coast they were up and about yesterday. Like I said earlier, I haven't seen them play that well for a very long time, but they were just up and about and running. I mean, they did similar to Geelong when Geelong travelled there earlier this year, but Geelong kicked away a little bit more towards the end. But they were up and about. Just,
Yeah, the thing with West Coast, the three best performances, actually four best performances, including yesterday, they've all come against the teams at the top. Like Collingwood away, they were up at half time. They only went down by 5 goals in Melbourne. Brisbane earlier in the year, the flag unveiling game, they kicked the first 5 goals of the game and they lost by 5 goals. And the Geelong game, like I think the Geelong game was probably the best performance for 3/4 of the year, and then they got destroyed in the last. Jeremy Cameron had the ball on the string, so. If you look at the games they've had against the top sides, they've been playing some really good football for good portions of the game.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They get blown off the park by the teams towards the bottom, and they just can't get up.
I mean, you can almost compare it to the Crows in 2021. Like our best games those years, and we actually ended up winning, were against Melbourne and Geelong. Both teams finished top 4 that year. Melbourne obviously winning the premiership. I think it just spurs them on to the fact that no one expects them to do anything in these kind of games, and I think that it probably galvanises a playing group to try and pull off a miracle, really.
Yeah, no, pretty much. I suppose it would. All the no pressure on you to do anything. Everyone's expecting a big loss, and you sort of get that freedom to play however you want. And sometimes the other team just, maybe mindset just doesn't rock up, and you end up with a result like yesterday. But fortunately, we ended up on the right side of the ledger, got the 4 points. We move on from there, and we just basically just don't think about it ever again, really.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them games.
Absolutely. We'll move on to some feedback from the listeners, and if you're listening in at the moment and want to leave some feedback, jump on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to go, at Proper Crows Pod. Or we'll always have a pre-game predictions post or a post-game or whatever it is. Behind Green Eyes, or Kirsty says, feeling relief. Also proud. Old Crows would have lost that probably by a point. So true, so true.
Very, very true.
Hammer 6 says, complete and utter garbage. Respect to West Coast, but we take the 4 points. Well said. Adam says, I've already erased that one from my mind. That is very true. Sophie over on Twitter, Sophie Damon, good friend, says Zach Taylor was massive early on when everyone else was struggling. Depresso Martini at Algorithm says Rip Burgess, plain and simply. There's a lot of Burgess hate on here. James Payne says get on the plane and get the hell out of there, except for Burgess. He can travel back to Adelaide in the backseat of a Mini. Probably a bit harsh for the big fella, but didn't have his best game.
It's his first game of the year. Give him a break.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back next week. It's who are we playing next week? Central.
Collingwood. No, the SANFL team wouldn't have a clue. You'd know that more than me.
Yeah, I reckon we've got Centrals next week.
Yeah.
He can go back out there and fill his boots up and steal a final spot in that one as well. Reese says it's another reminder that even if you're marginally off, you can get rolled. Cannot go into games switched off and thinking it'll just happen. Hopefully a real wake-up call with the Pies this week. Millie says, credit to the boys in the last quarter, but Zach Taylor really got us through the majority of that game. I'm very glad it's over. Ken says, must give an undermanned West Coast real credit for their play. Hopefully good signs for them next year. And Michael says, West Coast brought the pressure and an all-out attacking game style. I feel that the ball bounced their way all day long. It was definitely not our day, but the boys rolled up their sleeves and grinded out the win 1 week at a time. Pretty simple, pretty consistent messaging. Put it behind us. Respect Zach Taylor. That sums it up pretty well, I think, from all the comments there. Now, let's jump into our 3-2-1 of the best on ground. I get the feeling that this could be pretty consistent with the same 3 players, but who have you got your 1 for this week, mate?
So is it 3 votes for the best player or 1 vote for the best player?
3 for the best.
We'll start with 1. I'll probably give it to Zach Taylor. I think very, very solid game. 20 touches and a goal. Number 2, just for the impact he had in the second half, the match winner, Isaac Rankin. And obviously number 3, Jordan Dawson, who was perfection once again.
Absolutely, and that was exactly what I had written down in front of me as well. So you summed it up perfectly, mate. It was Phil gets an honourable mention, but first 2.5 quarters didn't do a hell of a lot. So.
Quite game for his standards. That's how good he is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So Dawes with the 3, Rankin with the 2, and Zachy Taylor probably his first votes, I would suggest, with the 1. We'll move on to some general news now, and this first point is very exciting. So, with the win yesterday and other results around the league, we have mathematically sealed our first finals appearance since 2017. So, back in September, mate, we're going to be playing finals. a matter of where we finish now. Obviously, a couple of games to go, but if someone told you before this season started that at the end of round 22 we would be sitting a game clear on top of the table, finals sealed, the only team in the league to mathematically seal finals, what would you tell them?
Oh, mate, we're breaking records this year. I can't recall the time a team that was 15th on the ladder has finished the next year first on the ladder, and we're very close to achieving that. But yeah, to get finals secured, like before we played Collingwood at Adelaide Oval, and I think a few months ago, a lot of people would have marked this down as a game that potentially can seal a top 2 spot or even a top 4 spot. Like, I mean, unless the unlosable happens against North Melbourne, I mean, it's essentially set in stone before we even get to play Collingwood, which is crazy. I mean, but it's sort of, in a way, it might even take the gloss of the fixture itself. I mean, a few weeks ago, we're thinking probably biggest ever regular season game. It's still very much up there for games at Adelaide Oval, but yeah, I think top 2 being sealed the way it is, with Brisbane losing over the weekend, kind of takes a gloss of it a bit. It'll still be a massive game, obviously.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's, going to be... it's probably the biggest game since, obviously the biggest game since the 2017 Grand Final. Maybe Sydney end of 2023, close, but it's going to be extremely exciting. And I must admit, the loss for Brisbane on the weekend to just really say, we've got top 4 pretty much sealed up. Assuming we beat North, probably after the weekend, we shouldn't go in assuming that we're going to 100% because we shouldn't.
Can't go in a game like that with a mentality that bad.
Exactly. So it should be sealed for top 4. Is very exciting, and the loss for Brisbane, just the heart is going to be a little bit rested, a little more easier than what it would have been. Where if Brisbane won last week and we're in an active chase for top spot, it would have been a little bit more nerve wracking. Yeah. But biggest game for a long time. We've been through the trenches. I think we've said this. I shared an emotional moment with you in Sydney when we were
the SCG, yeah. It's just 8 years essentially in the wilderness. 2023 obviously coming close, but like to be a genuine good team the way we are now we've had to wait a while, and it's for a club like the Crows, you've never been this long to wait, but it is what it is, and it's definitely going to make us appreciate the final series probably more than any other in our history, given it's been so long. Yeah,
exactly, and I think from here, obviously expectations have risen, but realistically, past mark at the start of the season, we were talking about it in the chat earlier, was to make finals and to, I think pre-season I had us maybe finishing 6th or 5th or 6th or something like that.
Would have happily taken 8th place, and as long as we just got there, it's been so long. But yeah, I guess after the first 3 games, expectations continue to rise, and you're probably thinking maybe 5th or 6th, continuously winning games eventually becomes let's get top 4. Now it's obviously top spot. So it's been a huge year of just constantly rising expectations.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. And it's a credit to Nixie, a credit to the players, the recruiting staff. We can't go an episode without saying thanks, Nix, and I couldn't get you without saying thanks, Nix. It's just special. It's been so long, like you said, since we've been able to really. The excitement of footy was taken away. We obviously after 2017, you come out in 2018 and go, all right, blip on the radar, grand final day, we'll be right back up there next year. You miss finals in 18 and you go, all right, 18 was just a blip on the radar, we'll be back this year. In 2019, you do the same thing. 2020, let's not even talk about it. We knew we fell off a cliff, and the rebuild really started with Nixie coming in. But from there, it's been a scrap. It was bottom 4 in 21 and 22, I think, might have just
bottom 4 or just outside the bottom 4. We won 8 games that year, so yeah, pretty much bottom 4.
Yeah, exactly right. And then obviously 23, you get robbed of a final spot, and then you go, all right, 2024, we're back, we're coming, we're going to take that jump, we're going to be back in the finals.
Prove it season.
Yeah, prove it year, mate. Prove it year. 9 and a prove it year. 8, 1 and 13 or whatever it is.
I can't even remember. 8, 1 and 14.
That's the one. And obviously finals get ripped away from you, and you go, all right, next year we're coming back, and then you get served up another bottom 4 year. So the emotions have taken a toll over the last 8 or so years after that grand final, and it's good to be back. I'm very excited, as I'm sure you and every other fan listening and all the other Crows fans around the place are pumped up for these final series and to see what we can do. And it just makes it even better that, look, it's likely that you're going to have at least 2 home finals, hopefully, and I touch wood when I say that, because the unthinkable. You don't know what could happen in the AFL, but should be 2 home finals.
Yeah.
and you put yourself in a really good spot. 2 home finals at the Adelaide Oval in front of 55,000 people, not quite, but puts you in a good spot to get to the big dance, which hopefully we could dare to dream to get there.
Oh, definitely. To get these 2 home finals, it's massive. I don't think anyone generally would have expected that at the start of the year or even halfway through the year. I think finishing 3rd or 4th would have been a dream season, but to get 2 home finals and have it essentially secured. Obviously, you've got to beat North first and hopefully beat Collingwood to seal it. But yeah, it truly has been a dream season. Everything you just hope for as a fan has just come to fruition.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just feels it's got all the makings of that fairy tale season, doesn't it? Of those ones that you talk about the 2016 or 2015, 2016 Bulldogs of their run, and you talk about the D's in 2021, and these sides who just come from nowhere to get a flag for the first time in a long time. And club's obviously been waiting 27 years since the last flag, and been pretty starved of opportunities. We played in a few prelims and been there on the last day once since then, but who knows what could happen from here, and just we'll enjoy the ride that Nixie's taking us on and the boys are taking us on, and just see what we can do from here, really.
Oh, absolutely. Just need to get these 2 home finals secured, which we should do. I think with the way Collingwood have been playing the last 5 games, I don't see us losing. Obviously, yesterday kind of makes you wonder a bit, but I just think we'll beat Collingwood for the first time since July 2016, which was Scott Thompson's 300th game. It feels like an eternity ago. The fact that we had, it's just. It is actually the second longest existing losing streak a team has in the AFL. The longest is North Melbourne, 10 years of not beating Geelong. So it does feel a bit weird in a way that to be so good at home and to play as well as we have, that we haven't been Collingwood at all in the last 8 years. Obviously, this has been our best year in 8 years, so I think it's our best opportunity, and it's a rare occurrence we've actually entered a game against Collingwood as favourites as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and heavy favourites too. I think last I saw were $1.30 or something like that, which is just insanity. But yeah, it'll be hopefully the boys come out firing on Saturday night. And like you said, it's been a long time between drinks against the Pies. Obviously, we've been close on so many occasions.
Too many times.
We've been heartbroken at the MCG the last 3 years in a row, but a few of those at Adelaide Oval too. So fingers crossed the boys can come out this week and get it done.
Yep.
Well, we'll move on to the next bit of news. Late last week or early last week after we'd recorded, it came out that Matty Nix has had a call with Sam Draper. I'm wondering if, having seen Burgess's role on the weekend, I've been strongly against getting Draper to the club at all costs, personally, all these rumours that have come through, but maybe not in a ruck role. Maybe as we transition Tex out, he comes in as that 3rd tool and we can keep the 3 tools playing. I don't know, but I'll back Nixie in and the recruiters into whatever they're thinking is the right way to go. I'll back him in, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, mate? It's interesting.
Yeah. No, I don't like it at all. I'm still a bit bitter, obviously, after what happened last year in round 5, just the way he carried on in that 5-point loss against Essendon. Obviously, a South Australian boy, very, very talented player on his day. But no, I just don't think he would fit this group. And obviously, with the history as well, I'm not a fan. But if he comes here and performs, and ultimately performs in a game like in a big showdown win or something, all will be forgiven. But yeah, I don't know about it. I'm not a fan. We'll see what happens. I think you got to trust in Nix, obviously. TIN.
TIN, facts, mate. Swatin. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those players that you look at and you just couldn't see them wearing a Crows Guernsey. And like you said, after round 5 last year, the diving on the ball and all that crap that happened after that, I don't know. Even without that, I just don't particularly like him as a player, to be perfectly honest.
No, 100%. Just not the kind of personality you'd associate with at the Crows.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that space. Obviously, Brisbane have been strongly talked about him there as well, and he could sign with Essendon yet, but yeah, a lot to play out in that space. And obviously, stay tuned here on Proper Crows. We'll be following the news as it happens. Another bit of news from this afternoon involving players, mate, and this one is a bit more exciting. Calamar Chi of Brisbane It's being said that he's a little bit underpaid at Brisbane at the moment, and we've put a healthy offer towards him. He would be a very good get. Obviously, a premiership player last year for the Lions, plenty of experience, can play that high half forward role, can play the wing. Would be an incredible addition to the squad if we can somehow snare him. What are your thoughts?
Oh, he'd be certainly a player you love in your team. His second half from last year onwards, he's just been one of the Lions' best players and one of the biggest reasons they ended up winning the premiership. If you look back to the Swans game at the Gabba last year with the winning goal into the final series, the goal that put them in front in the prelim, and then the 4 goals in what I believe should have been a Norm Smith medal performance. He's definitely been one of the most improved players I've seen. From essentially being a depth player to the player he is now, I would love it if we had a crack at him and see what we can do there.
Absolutely. And did he kick 4 on us a couple of years ago at the Adelaide Oval, I think?
Yeah, it was Dan Curtin's second or third game for the club. He got a bit of a bath in that first half. But yeah, I think pretty much from that game onwards, he really started to become one of the Brisbane's best players overall.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hopefully the healthy proposal that we've put forward is something that's tempting, and see if we can snag him there. Because I imagine he would be an unrestricted free agent, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. Spoke about him a little bit earlier. Rash has no certainty to return for finals as he recovers from his knee injury, Nixie said last week. So, not the greatest news. It's always a bit hard to put a timeline on such a strange injury, I suppose. Not a really common one that you have a set timeline for, but by all means, he's doing absolutely everything he can to get back. He's around the club. He's training as much as he possibly can. So fingers crossed Rash can get back up for finals, because he would be a really big X-factor player in September.
Yeah, obviously the knee injury against Melbourne, I think 99% of fans would have thought that has to be an ACL when it happened, and very fortunate that there is still a chance that he'll play finals. But yeah, if he doesn't come back first week of the finals, hopefully second week, it's certainly a player you need in the big games, because he's proven to be so clutch in certain moments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think him and Max are probably the two real keys that are on the sideline at the moment, but Max obviously looking a little bit more likely with the hamstring strain that he'll probably come back, but I don't know, going into a first final, would you risk 2 coming back? I mean, I think Max is on track for week 1, and if Rash is ready for week 1, do you risk 2 players in very key positions that might be underdone a little bit, or do you play a bit safe?
I'd bring them both straight back in. I think Max is way too important to just leave out. Obviously, you don't want to have them get re-injure themselves or anything, but we have obviously rushed Nick Murray back in earlier in the year, and he missed a few more games after that. Like, it is probably, I don't know, I think first week maybe not, but I think if we were in a prelim, you'd want both players playing in that prelim.
Yeah, no, 100% agree, mate. Next bit of news, Rory Laird will miss this week coming after his bump on, I can't even remember who it was on Liam Duggan as well. Took him
Liam Duggan is bumping everyone.
Yeah.
No,
he was certainly around it.
Yeah. I think the Crows players went to the room and protests and didn't stick around for his guard of honour.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of commentary about that on Twitter, which is a bit dumb, because actually watching the Fox Footy coverage, they asked Liam Duggan about it, and he said Geordie Dawson did come over and offer for the guard of honour, and he declined for them to do it. But all the Twitter warriors and tippity top Crows aren't.
They all know best. Don't worry about them.
Absolutely, the Twitter selection panel.
The best assistant coaches we've ever had.
Yeah, no, so it wasn't really much in that. A few regular people on Twitter just baiting for engagement as per usual. But yeah, Lairdy will miss this week. We'll talk about replacements and all of that sort of stuff in a moment, but replaceable. I think we've got a few players that can slot straight into that role, and it'll be okay. And it is only 1 week. He'll be back probably for North and then into the final, so that'll be all right. Next bit of news, speaking of that North game, the round 24 fixture was finally locked in by the AFL last week. So we'll play North at Marvel Stadium on Saturday, August 23rd at 12:50pm. Given, depending what happens with our results this week, we could be looking to steal top spot. I'm probably of the view that we don't really need to rest players per se. If there's anyone who's obviously a bit banged up and needs a week, yep, sure. But let's ride the wave of success at the moment and just keep the team rolling and go into September in good form. And hopefully North don't show up like West Coast did on the weekend and
hopefully not.
spoil the party.
I mean, well, North played a good three-quarter game against us in round 3, and stranger things can happen. Like 2017, we got absolutely steamrolled against North and finished top that year still. But I think if we beat Collingwood on Saturday, which we should, then you definitely have to consider resting some players when that top 2 is finished and secured. I mean,
yeah, I think so. The only other thing to consider though is, and I know really there's not a lot of difference between first and second, is Geelong will be chomping at our heels because they have a relatively soft draw. I think they've got Sydney this week and then into Richmond in the last game of the year. So
I think Geelong will finish potentially with a higher percentage than the Crows, but obviously first and second you get the same outcome, 2 home finals. I think it's just a matter of, do you want to play, say, Collingwood or Gold Coast first week or Freo first week? I think, Geelong, they play after the Crows play the Kangaroos, so they could decide potentially who finishes first, but I think Crows should win their last 2 games anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. If we win our last 2, it doesn't matter and you finish top anyway, but if we were to drop this week, then, a bit of tension heading into the last round, because obviously that'd leave the Pies tight on points. It could give Fremantle a chance to be tight on points. It could give Geelong a chance to be tight on points. And then the Lions would be 2 points behind as well.
I think percentage is going to be the biggest factor here. Like, we'd have to lose to Collingwood by over 100 and North Melbourne by 80 plus for us to even remotely come close to missing the top 2 at this point.
Yeah. No,
actually, but that is, if we lose one of those games, I think percentage will be in our favour massively.
Yeah, exactly right. Basically, just don't get blown off the park. It's and the Dockers have a couple of hard games to finish, so you probably I don't want to write them off because they keep proving people wrong. But I'm a very known Fremantle hater, so they have Brisbane and the Dogs away to finish their season, so they've got a tough finish. I mean, the Pies have us, and then they go and play. Who have they got in the last round? Melbourne. You think they probably
they'll definitely win. Yeah. Simon Goodwin-less Melbourne will not come near Collingwood in a game Collingwood potentially have to win to make the top 4.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it'll be a very interesting finish, given that, obviously we're a game clear, but you've got 3 teams right behind us, a game behind, and then another team in Brisbane behind them who have the draw in their favour. So snag one of the wins, and you are guaranteed top 4. So that's the main thing, but. Let's hope that we can lock in top 2, because that would be very big for us heading into finals, as we said before. Last piece of news here: Brodie Smith and his wife Lisa welcome baby Luca. Very big congratulations to both of them. Future father son, maybe, who knows? We'll see how he goes. Turns out to be a kick half as good as his dad. He'll be a good player. Now we'll move on to the SANFL, mate, and I'm sorry to read it out as a big South Adelaide fan that you are. The Collies took down the Panthers by 27 points, 12-11-83 to 8-8-56. Big Billy Dowling with 41 touches and 2 snags, absolutely hammering down the door to come into the team. Matt Crouch with 33 touches, 8 tackles and 7 clearances, playing his heart out as well. Sid had 22 touches, 7 clearances and 5 inside 50s. A few of the boys just playing very well. Don't know if you watched this one on Saturday, mate.
Nah, not interested in this particular one. But I did actually go to the game where South were up by 38 points and lost to the Crows reserves this year, actually. So, it's a rare occurrence that the Crows reserves have done the double against us. So good on them. And Billy Dowling, 41 touches and 2 snags, I think. Very good chance that he'll be the next youngster to find his way into the team over the coming weeks. Not sure if he'll come in this week, but I think he'll probably get a game against North last game of the year, maybe.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. I mean, his form has been absolutely elite in the 2, so probably 6 or so weeks he's been playing very well. I personally didn't watch the sample game either, but got the win. Just rolling along really nicely as we come towards finals. I mean, it's probably Sturt and Glenelg out on a pedestal, but you never know with the class and quality we have in our side. When finals come around, who knows what happens. Sturt last year thought they had it in the bag and then got rolled in straight sets. So We'll have to see what goes on there and if they can make a push for the SANFL flag, because we could be talking AFL flag one week and an SANFL flag the next. It could be dream situations in there. Move on to this week coming up. We've got the Pies, as we've been talking about, on Saturday night in a biggest game in a long, long time. It's one that's going to decide probably where we finish, you'd think. Win this, you probably finish top. Lose this, you still probably finish top 4 somewhere around there. But we'll go to changes to the side. We were talking about Chase Jones earlier and Bond, and obviously Laird comes out of the side with his suspension. Who do you think comes in, mate? Obviously Tex probably comes back in for Burgess.
Tex definitely comes in for Burgess. That's 100% going to happen, unless Tex is hopefully not injured. But that's the only way that he won't be able to get back in the team. I think obviously Chase Jones might be due for a rest. Didn't do much off the bench as a sub. And Hugh Bond probably could be in the chopping block. Maybe not this week. I'd probably keep him just for the time being. And Laird obviously coming out. So 4 changes, 3 or 4 changes, I reckon. And Tex will definitely be one of them coming in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd probably think Brodie Smith is probably a straight swap for Rory Laird. It's a Smith or a Dowling in for Laird. I think that's pretty. Probably the way that it's going to go. It's. I don't know, how much do you want to swing the axe going into such a big game? I don't know if you make that many changes.
I just think just based on the way the team overall performed against West Coast, it is probably worthy of swinging the axe and trying to get as much experience you can possible for a game like this, because we're going to need it. A majority of these players have never beaten Collingwood, so it would be a huge achievement for this team, massively, particularly those that have played in all these losses against Collingwood the last 7 or so years.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, let's actually run through the squad that played yesterday. How many of them would have actually beaten Collingwood? Because there wouldn't have been many.
Yeah, it goes back to 2016. Laird, obviously. You're going to have to go through pretty much everyone. There really wasn't many players from that era that played yesterday. So. Yeah,
no, I can't think of many. My AFL app is just frozen on me, which is very, very handy.
Great timing.
I cannot think of anyone else who would have been there. Obviously, Laird. Smith got rested, so he wasn't there. Tex.
Rob didn't play in 2016. He didn't play for us consistently until 2019 onwards. So but I think Laird honestly is probably the only player who would have played in that game, 2016 against Collingwood Adelaide Oval.
Yep. I'm just looking at it now. Obviously, Neil Bullen would have beaten him in his time at the D.
Many times.
Yeah. Maybe Peatling at the Giants as well, but
yeah, he would have as well.
Other than that, it's a group of boys who haven't tasted any success about Collingwood, and we spoke about it a bit earlier. There's obviously been a lot of heartbreak over the last few years and close losses and dubious.
A few reviews and apologies that got us nowhere.
Absolutely, and then just chucked in the middle of fire alarm halfway through the first quarter as well.
Great. I was at that game as well. Actually, during the fire alarm, me and my brother were lining up for beers, and we got ushered out the bar area. We walked off with our beers and paid nothing.
Perfect.
So, can't complain. We got done by about 9 goals, though, so shit day, but free beers, can't complain.
Nah, absolutely. I suppose, other than that, mate, where do you see the game being won and lost? I mean, it's a big battle in the midfield. Collingwood, we saw a bit of the blueprint on Friday night where Hawthorn just got on top and just dominated them all around the ground. Where do you see this game being won and lost? Is it... I think their defence probably plays a big role. Jeremy Howard is huge.
Yeah, defence at the moment for Collingwood's been awful. Houston's been in awful form. Darcy Moore, he's just not at the races lately. And obviously Jeremy Howard not playing is a bonus for us. So I just think the forward line composure with Tex back is just going to be too much for Collingwood. I think it'll be a pretty even game in the midfield. Obviously the Dacos brothers, and they'll have a good game. I think Nick Dacos is just... He plays his best footy usually against the Crows, so can't go past that. I think it won't be a complete shellacking like the Hawthorn-Collingwood game. I think Collingwood, they're a club that will want to make sure they get a good game in before finals, and it's a tough one to really say, but I do think it'll be a high-scoring game as well, unless it rains, obviously.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree. It's an interesting one to look at because, I mean, Collingwood for the last probably 5 weeks haven't been incredible. Obviously, they've lost. They were 2 games clear on top of the ladder there, and then in the last 5 weeks, they've only won once. And that one win came against Richmond as well. So they obviously lost to Hawthorn on the weekend, got rolled by Brisbane the week before. They beat Richmond by 30 points, lost to Freo, lost to the Suns, and then before that it's wins against Carlton and West Coast and St Kilda and Melbourne and teams that aren't particularly, thrilling or up the top end of the ladder. So
I remember when they beat Carlton on that Friday night when Dacos had probably his best game of the year. They were 3 games clear in first. They had a better percentage than us. And I just think, I remember after that game just thinking it's just a matter of who's going to finish second. Yeah. And it's just, Collingwood are not the kind of team that's just going to collapse the way they have. It's been a massive shock, really. Since that Suns first half where they didn't get a goal in, they've just looked really poor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hopefully they just keep that sort of form up and the boys can get the win on Saturday night. I'm a bit scared they're going to come out firing. It's just a very Collingwood sort of thing to do. But we've been saying that for the last few weeks. So hopefully their slump goes down. If they were to miss the top 4, it would be pretty incredible and a very strange downfall from like round 15 onwards or so. So be interesting. What's your prediction for this week, mate? Who have you got to win and how much do you think they will win by?
I'll still maintain it'll be not a big scoreline like in terms of margin. I think it will be probably a 4-goal win for the Crows. I think Collingwood will probably start the game off decently, and then I think we'll get the run on them. Not similar to the Hawthorn game, so I don't think we'll be 5 goals down at any point. But I would probably say a 4 or 5 goal win for the Crows at home.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I've probably got the Crows by about 20 odd points or so. I just want to break that curse. Just get over them. Just a win against them would be incredible. It'll
be very satisfying after all the bullshit we've had to endure for this fixture. It'll just be very satisfying.
No, absolutely. And like you said, last time was Tomo's 300th game, which I was still in high school when we won that one, and now I'm almost 30. So.
It's just been too long. Just in general, we just have an awful record against Collingwood, even before then. Never beaten them in a final. Just never had the luck against this mob, particularly in big games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just, and I mean, it probably speaks volumes to the club that Collingwood are, and they, always up and about and always around for the big games. But on that, I'm going to pick into your football knowledge here, and apologies, I didn't prepare for this earlier.
You don't need to prepare me for this kind of thing.
Absolutely, mate. Well, as you know, Proper Classics, a fixture on the Proper Crows podcast, TikTok and Twitter, and apologies to everyone listening. I have been a bit slack over the last couple of weeks in putting them out, but it's just hard to find vision of games against West Coast, who it's either 100-point wins or tight losses in prelim finals, and the week before it was Hawthorn, which is a similar sort of story. So we mentioned Tomo's 300th the last time we beat Collingwood, which is the one that I did use earlier in the year. Give me 1 or 2 games against the Pies, and we'll see if we can get it up for Proper Classics this week.
There's been some beauties. Can't really go past my first ever Crows away day, which was round 22, 2007. It was Rashudo's last ever regular season game. That was the main reason why we travelled over, because we had to win 4 of our last 5 games to play final. So we were kind of just assuming that was going to be it. And we won the game by 3 goals, and we actually secured a spot in the finals that night because St Kilda, Freo, Essendon, they were all sort of catching up at that point, and it was too late for them to play finals. So that game stands out. Like, that was just the dream away trip for a first Crows away trip. It was just one of the best childhood memories I've ever had, was seeing us win in Melbourne against Collingwood.
Absolutely. Another one that sticks to mind for me is 2014, late
what a game.
year, where it kept our finals chances alive. I think
both wins in 2014 were special. That MCG win particularly was the backs against the walls, and I remember the game well because we had to win to get into the 8, and on week after that, I think we lost at home to West Coast, and that 2014 season, I would say it's up there as like the most frustrating Adelaide Crows season of all time.
Yeah, plenty of excitement. First year at Adelaide Oval. It was probably another case of similar to after the grand final. You had 2012 where you made a prelim. You had a stinker of a year in 2013, and then you go, right, we're coming back. And then, just all sorts of things go wrong. Someone hits the post in Port versus Carlton, and your final chances go out the window, and plenty of different things happening that year. So 2014 is a tough year.
Another proper Crows classic against Collingwood. It's a bittersweet one in a way, obviously, because of what happened later in the year. Round 1, 2009, 4-point win at the MCG. Tex's first ever goal in his debut. Let's just completely forget about what happened later in the year at the G in that fixture, but that game was definitely one of the special ones, and a rare occurrence where we actually won a close game against a good team away from home. Yeah,
no, absolutely, a very special one. It's obviously for a multitude of reasons. Tex's first game, kicked his first goal. Who else was it? Mike Cook and Jared Petrenko playing their first
both
game.
debuted. They both had very good games. Yep.
Absolutely. So that's another special one to think back to. And other than that, we've been on the wrong end of a few classic games, which is unfortunate. And I certainly won't be reposting them for everyone to have traumatic experiences on Thursday morning. But I'll take the pick out of 2007 if I can find vision. I can definitely find.
You'd probably be able to find like poor quality vision. So round 1 2009 is on YouTube. I definitely know that. I've rewatched it many times.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have a look and see what we can find and pick out and get something up for this week and enjoy that one and have a look at another proper classic. It's been a couple of weeks since I've put one up. Also, just a bit of sizzle for everyone listening as well. I've made a very nice edit for before September, which I'm very proud of. Keep an eye out for that around the 1st of September, which is going to be very well timed. It'll be the week rolling into finals. September's there, finals are there. So keep an eye on the TikTok, the Twitter. We'll try and get it on Instagram and Facebook, pending if they let us for the music copyright issues that we have on there sometimes. But other than that, mate, was there anything else you wanted to go through before we head off?
I think we covered pretty much everything we needed to. It's first time I've actually ever spoken on a podcast, so it's been interesting, and hopefully I've been good enough to listen to. Obviously, no experience in ever doing this, so I love talking football. Obviously, past games, particularly the 2000s, as we've touched on the last few minutes. So anytime, mate, I'm more than happy to come on.
Absolutely, mate. You did very, very well. So thank you very much for jumping on. Sorry for a few technical issues there, folks. The program we used just decided to crash and told me that hackers might be trying to steal my data, which is good. So we'll see how much of the last few minutes you can receive from all of that, which is fantastic, but we should be okay. Thank you all very much for listening. Proper Classics, as we said, will be up on Thursday morning. I'm hopeful if I get my shit together and just get it made, it'll be up Thursday morning. Our review of the Pies game will be out next Sunday afternoon or Monday night. At Proper Crows Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Thank you very much for listening. And Matt, thank you very much for jumping on, mate. I'm sure it won't be the last we hear of you on the Proper Crows Pod. You've done very, very well in the absence of Dylan Dom tonight, and we'll lean on you again at some stage and get you back on for sure.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No worries, mates. Enjoy the week. Go the Crows on Saturday night. If you've got a ticket and you can't get there, pass it on to someone who can get there. Let's pack out the Adelaide Oval and get the boys over the line.
Ring the bell! Ring the bell! The bell in the city of Kansas! Stand up like Matthew Nicks and rule like you never have before! Jarman again, round the body, that'll do!